Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the PHNX Mercury podcast, where today I'm breaking rules, ones that I made. Mighty Mercury! What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the PHNX Mercury podcast, brought to you by our friends at Mountain America Credit Union. Shout out to them. We'll be getting back to them here shortly later today on this podcast. Welcome to a post-game edition of the PHNX Mercury podcast, one where I'm feeling jazzed. I'm not going to lie to you, Gil. Today was a victory that I feel like not only did the Mercury themselves need it, but we needed on this podcast.
We needed it.
I'm not trying to be on this podcast Thunderstick list forever, okay? This is getting atrocious. So nonetheless, we got the Thundersticks. I still haven't got my Mac jersey, for those wondering, but that's okay. I have connections that are working on it. In the meantime, Mac, if you're watching, please work on this for me. Please. I got the people in like the office working, but like you could probably really help.
Just pulling strings right here.
Come on, Big Four. Anyways, I'm joined by ball boy Gil McGregor.
Just grab another rebound. In the time that you said that, I got another rebound.
Double for Gil, man.
Double for me. Maybe I'm working on triple-double.
You know.
The scoring part is the hard part. I can get the rebounds and the assists. Everything else is whatever.
Okay, AT.
There you go. The influence is real.
AT Gil. Woo!
There it is.
But we just watched Mercury beat the Seattle Storm 93-73. Quick shout out to our guy Kevo Post behind the Mac, shooting the X's and O's, pressing the buttons on today's Their podcast, because frankly, this guy is down bad, and I can't believe he's here vertical with us on this fine Saturday afternoon. He really has hurt himself, and I need him to get better. I'm worried. I came up today to the studio, and Gil said, "Oh, Kevin's on the IR. Like, you're going to see this." And I'm like, dude, is it in a boot? And it might as well be at this point. It might as well be.
In the little homemade boot for real. You know, you got to
never question this guy's grit or his determination. That's all I got to say.
It's giving grit and grind. And like, that makes me feel #blessed. So
I feel that.
Nice. But obviously the Mercury is who we're here to talk about today. I want to celebrate first off Rip, because again, 4-game losing streak. It was not exactly a fun losing streak to be a part of. The Mercury were in so many close games, and they just dropped one after the other. I think one of them, of the 4, was a blowout, and I could be wrong. Gil, I can see over there typing on his computer, probably looking it up to confirm or deny what I just said, because I'm just speaking out of my butt. But like Quitta says, like, shout out to the Merc for showing up today. They gave us something to celebrate. I want to start by saying, I know this is honestly kind of the Noémie Brochant game, but like, shout out to Valu Ayayi for just staying ready, because the Mercury was shorthanded today. No Mo, no Yo-Yo. Obviously, AT went down later in the game with something with her back. We're going to come back to that. But, Mercury shorthanded. They obviously still don't have Sammy. And Ayayi kind of figured it out today. And that is, we've been talking about it on this pod, like, if she can go, the Merc looks a lot different than what we've been seeing over the last, 10 games. And frankly, like, I saw Steven's tweet about it, like, this lineup today, while obviously you would love for Mo to have been there, you would have loved to see Yo-Yo, this was like the most versatile lineup that they've had this entire season, like playing with AT and 4 wings or whatever they were doing out there today seemed to really work. So like, just quick takeaways for you, Gil, from today's victory.
There was a sense of connectedness, and to come into this game knowing you're playing, let's not like just sugarcoat it, an inferior opponent. But still, you don't just show up and expect to win. You have to go out and earn a win, especially knowing that you're playing against a 4-game losing streak as well. So I was very impressed that basically from the get-go they answered the call. I know that Seattle got to a solid start, but it was Phoenix that really kind of bounced back and recognized that they needed to step up a little bit. And you saw contributions from across the board. It was from an early point with Noémie Brochant kind of stepping up right away. And Valu, that was the most comfortable I think we've seen her on the floor all season since joining this team. So I think part of it probably has something to do with the opponent, but at the same time, you have to step up. You play who's in front of you, and you control your controllables. And we saw a level of basketball that we've been wanting to see from this group, and that was what was most impressive for me. There were a couple big runs that the Merc went on that oftentimes we see them on the other end of. For them to be the aggressor in those situations, to really impose their will and say, we're not going through this homestand without getting a win. And it was across the board, but specifically talk about the two double-doubles, pair of double-doubles from your French players who step up and have the games they had. And again, Valou 18 and 10 off the bench is really impressive, and stepping up, being ready, looking comfortable, and playing off one another was what was most encouraging to me, because this feels like, and we've said this before, but this feels like something to build on.
Well, and to your point about Ayayi, 8 free throw attempts, and she was 8 for 8 and all. And I mean, it's really what you want to see from her. You really want to see her get to the rack, be comfortable, be willing to pass, which she was today. I think it was a very much so all around game for both her and Noémie Brochant. So Quita says in the comments, she just has so much potential, and we're starting to really see that kind of play out. And obviously, hopefully, as she gets more opportunity, you see even more of that potential.
That, and the other part of it too, so much we're talking about with her playing this year and not necessarily looking confident in herself. And there were some moments where you could see the emotion come out a little bit. You could see, when she was drawing fouls or grabbing boards or making shots, she just looked like she was having a lot of fun out there. And, I was at the game this past Wednesday. All these days kind of blend in together. Was that Wednesday?
They're blurry.
They're blurry. It was Wednesday. But I remember she got in early foul trouble and looked a little frustrated with herself, frustrated with officiating. There's so much to be said about going out there and just playing the game.
Yep.
And playing freely and not worrying about, if you make a mistake, you're looking over your shoulder, seeing if somebody's coming in to check in for you. And I got that sense. Obviously, through the television is a little bit different than seeing from the arena on Wednesday. But you could tell when somebody's playing with a little more freedom, playing freely. And I got that not just from her, but across the board with the way this team played tonight. Or this afternoon. Gosh, it's noon. It's 3 o'clock this afternoon, not tonight.
Whatever time of day.
Yeah, whatever time of day it is. It's game day.
I forgive you. The other thing that I was going to get to before my thought process was interrupted by a verbal typo. Seattle Storm was, back against the wall, heading toward 10 losses, and this is now their 10th consecutive loss. Yes, this is the bottom of the barrel in terms of WNBA, respectfully, teams right now. That said, this is a promising group of players. I implore you to buy your Dominique Malunga, Awafam stock right now.
It's going to be gone soon, or it's going to go up.
Right.
The price is going up on that stock.
Buy it, because this team is going to be absolutely no joke. And obviously, we could talk about Flau'jae Johnson, her ability to just get to the rim. She makes shots that you're just left there okay, what? I guess how do you stop that? You can't. And so, I know that this is not against, if we were talking about a game versus the New York Liberty, we would be talking about this game from a completely different perspective for sure. But that being said, this was not a bad win to get. And so I'm not mad about the circumstances upon this victory.
No, not at all. And that's kind of what I was saying. You don't just show up and beat anybody. And I know last time these two teams played, there were some other factors going in health-wise as far as limiting the Merc. But anytime that you are on a losing streak, it's going to be difficult, especially when you're playing a team that's on one of their own. They're going to be desperate as well. So there's a lot of, the opponent you're playing your own losing streak, but you're also playing the desperation of that opponent and a talented team. So I think the fact that they forced some people into inefficient shooting nights, Malunga, Flau'jae, inside the arc was very efficient. Outside the arc was not so efficient. That speaks to the defensive identity. The big thing we talk about holding this team to 73 points, 36% shooting from the field. Those are the things that you are supposed to do when you feel like you are better than a team. Now, they have a lot of talent, but they have not pieced it together yet and figured it out yet. The future is bright, as you said, Erica, but ultimately the group of veterans who've been there and done that before need to say, look, this is what we do. We need this more than you need this. We're going to continue to send you on your spiral that you're on, take care of business, and we're going to be in the winner's circle.
I like that name for them, Rob, the Euro Teens. That's incredible stuff. You and I, we should work together on, some names and phrases for things. It's almost like we've done that in the past. Because that is hilarious. I want to get to the by the numbers before Steven hops on, if that's okay with you, Gil.
That's all right with me.
And you have to go through the by the numbers.
Sure.
I can't read.
Okay.
Yippee! We're going to do the By the Numbers here on the PHNX Mercury podcast. And then as soon as Steven comes on, we're going to talk about a little bit more of today's game.
So let's look at some. Wow, I can't talk. I can read, but I can't talk. Let's look at some of the numbers from this afternoon's game where you talk about already. I mentioned the inefficiency from Seattle. Shot 36% from the field, 29% from beyond the arc. Merck, 48% from the field and 34% from beyond the arc. Now, turnovers stand out a little bit. 16 turnovers for the Merc to 10 for the Storm. But the rebounding battle right there, you talk about the possession game. 41 rebounds for the Merc to 28 from Seattle, and then 34 points in the paint from the Merc, 230 from Seattle. What stands out to me when I look at these numbers right away, obviously the field goal percentages, but also rebounding and points in the paint. The biggest issue, it feels like for me, when the Merc have struggled this year, what's plagued them is the points in the paint. And points in the paint come a lot of ways. We've seen nights where other teams scored 40, 45, 50, 60 points in the paint.
Yeah.
Right. So to only allow 30 against this team who has people who like to get downhill, who has a few players with size advantage that like to finish around the rim. There were a couple finishes. I think Malanga finished the game 4 for 16. There were a few where she looked uncomfortable from the field where she was. She only took 2 threes. So you think about it, she was 3 of 14 from inside the arc. So just the defensive principles that allowed those players to not ever feel comfortable, even if they were able to get a second chance, they weren't able to convert on those. So I think that was a big thing to build on. Again, you're going to maybe face some teams that have players who understand how to take advantage a little more, but you have to have something to build on. You have to have a proof of concept. You have to be able to have film to look back at and say, okay, here's how we shut the paint down or made it a non-factor compared to what it has been in other games. So build on that and continue to kind of improve that defense in that area.
The other big number that wasn't listed on that By the Numbers thing for me was the third quarter score.
Yes.
33 for Phoenix and 20 for the Seattle Storm. We've joked about the third quarter being the third quarter for 2 years on this PHNX Mercury podcast, and frankly, like to see them turn that around, albeit against the Seattle Storm, I think I'm happy.
Yeah.
Obviously, you would have loved for them to score more than 12 in the fourth, but considering AT went out with whatever's wrong with her back, please, Lord, do me a solid and make it nothing. Make it nothing. Just she needs to be iced, maybe go in the ice tub, but we don't need a Kevin Thomas situation on the Phoenix Mercury.
Definitely not.
He knew it was coming. He knew that was coming.
Yeah, it's funny because I was telling Gil the other week, like we played pickup, and this is not about our men's league, but we played pickup, and I did like strain my back muscle throwing an overhead pass, and I feel really old this past month. So back issues, ankle issues, my back's fine now. It was just like a little muscle.
Are you okay?
It's what happens when you don't do any physical activity, and all of a sudden you start doing stuff. Your body's like, what is this? What is this activity? But yeah, I hope AT's good.
I saw her with some ice strapped to her back. Hopefully everything's going to be okay. We were all crashing out about it in the Die Hard Discord chat, and I told everybody that until told otherwise, I will think she has to pee, and then she came out with ice on her back. So silly me for being wrong. I just love to have optimism and fake belief, but nonetheless, it's A-okay. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be fine. I'm sure AT is going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a player who has played a lot of minutes in her career, and sometimes things take a toll, and like there are a lot of things that are hopefully, fingers crossed, just maintenance and nothing other than that. So that is the hope, I'm sure, for not just us, but all of
Monday.
them.
Don't love.
It's a really quick turnaround, but it was an early game today, so
right.
It's not your typical post-game recovery.
Today,
like you can. And the only thing that gives me a little travel. We're locked in. It's not a quick flight either, but but we're gonna be positive.
And it's to Indiana.
We're gonna be positive.
Gosh, we're really trying to be positive here on the PHNX Mercury podcast, but it's gonna be okay, you guys. We don't have to stress. Not every day, only on days that they lose. But I want to take a quick ad break here on the PHNX Mercury podcast because Stephen PridGeon-Garner should be here imminently, and I don't want to waste any time without him when I know he's about to catch the pass from AT to come onto this pod. So let's go to a quick ad break here on the pod, and then we will be right back with you on the PHNX Mercury podcast. Guys, I have really good news. It's about Mountain America Credit Union and the fact that they did, in fact, get an updated Mercury credit and debit card. Look at that bad boy on the screen. Look at that bad boy on the screen. Hot fire. I honestly would argue that this is better than the old one. I know that there's a lot of like arguments about old logo, new logo, blah, 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 blah. I think the card itself, though, is fire. So I am hashtag stoked about that.
So I can get one of those?
You sure can. You can get it as a credit and debit card.
For real?
You sure can.
You lying.
I'm dead serious. I almost said something else, but yeah. Get these lead cards from Mountain America Credit Union. They are available as both credit and debit cards. You can get a $200 bonus when you open a Mercury credit card and a MyStyle checking account. No annual fee credit card options available as low rate cashback or rewards card options. And the MyStyle checking accounts unlocks extra benefits like telehealth access, mobile phone protection, and loan rate discounts. Mountain America Credit Union is here to guide you forward on your financial journey, not backwards, like the Mercury's journey. They're going forward in the rankings, not back. You can visit macu.com/Mercury200 to learn about how you can get a $200 bonus when you sign up for your Mercury card. Insured by NCUA, membership required based on eligibility. This limited time offer ends December 31st and can be changed or withdrawn at any time. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit. You could argue that was like the slowest I've ever read that, which is pretty impressive for myself. But my other good friends over at the Circle K, you know what I got yesterday, Gil?
Froster, Polar Pop, gas.
I got gas!
Third time's the charm.
Yeah!
Bro guessed
And guess
gas
what?
last.
It might not have been gas day.
It's America's thirst stop, Kevin.
It might not have been fuel day, but guess what I got? 40 cents off. It's because I buy all my fuel at Circle K, so you know I get 5 cents every single time. But then if you go 5 times, you get 40 cents on your 6th visit. So shout out to Circle K. You can go to the Inner Circle Rewards app. All you have to do is put in your phone number and email address. You can then get access to 79-cent Polar Pops, 99-cent Frosters. Gil has a whole rap that he's saving for next week about this exact topic, which you guys should all get really excited for. You can also, everyone can buy 2, get 1 free Monsters Celsius plus 25 cents off a gallon when you buy 3 Coca-Cola products. That's Inner Circle only. Inner Circle only. So get on that. But you can go join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. I'm feeling jazzed.
I can't tell.
Why?
I'm feeling jazzed.
I'm feeling jazzed.
Better. I guess they were just waiting for Steven. That's when we really feel jazzed.
Whoa!
Like
I haven't even barked.
the win streak starts today. Let's get into today. The win streak begins today.
Kevin looks actually scared.
You ready to run through a wall? You ready to leap through, hobble through a wall?
I'm gonna hop right through that wall.
Let's go. Come on.
Are we gonna talk about Kahleah Copper?
I think we should.
Bark. All right. Do we even have a player of the game today, Kevin? We failed. It's because we're not used to having one again after the losing that we've been on.
He's got a lot of options.
You know, we truly.
I'm very curious, and this is like none of us in here are like stats historic nerds, but the last time 3 players had double doubles in the same game for the Merc had to be
a long time ago,
if ever. I'm sure it's happened before. 30-year franchise history.
Mercury PR, please be watching live and text me in about 3 minutes.
3 double doubles is insane.
So you got Noémie Brochant,
16 points, 10 assists.
Natasha Mack,
10 points, 10 boards.
and Valériane Ayayi.
18 points, 10 boards.
Arr.
That's what starts a win
Giving
streak
nicks,
right there.
I don't really need that. So let me stop barking. You know, they keep letting the dogs out in New York, and I need to keep.
I don't know who let them out either.
Keep them inside. It's dangerous.
It's hot outside. Concrete's hot for those paws.
This is why Steven has to be here.
He'd be just shaking his head.
Keep us on track, because Kevin can't really intervene for us today. Poor guy. But Kahleah Copper talked a lot about in the last game on Wednesday. Who was that even against? Was that the Aces game?
That was the Aces game. Time flies, everything blends in together.
I would say when you were having fun, but I don't know that game was that.
That game was fun for the first 20 minutes.
It was.
And then the next 5
and
were
I
less
put together
fun.
a really good breakdown about it, and then we didn't even use it because I had a verbal typo and we didn't have a podcast on Thursday.
I'm gonna have to steal that verbal typo. I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's like a mishap.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's
nice, right?
Yeah, it's not nice to have those, but we're human.
Well, but then it's a fun word.
It's a fun word.
It makes it funnier that you screwed up.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, you were saying Kahleah Copper.
Yeah, Kahleah Copper talks about comfortability and just kind of like second guessing her decisions a lot. And when the team is losing in the way that they have, you can imagine that feeling kind of spreads all around it, especially because Kahleah Copper is like such a big part of the leadership on this team. Like you can imagine that everyone's comfortability has gotten a little bit better throughout these last couple of games where frankly, a lot of them have gotten more opportunity and needed to do more. And Ayayi has benefited from that. Noémie Brochant has benefited from that. But obviously also Kahleah Copper herself has benefited from that. It wasn't the high volume scoring that it has been over the last 2 games for her, but still 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists is not something to complain about. Plus the 2 stocks, one of them was on Flage in absolutely disgusting manner, by the way.
She was jazzed after
barking.
that. We were jazzed.
She got a T, and I just have to say,
she got a what?
You're right.
She got a what?
T.
Thank you. Anyway, you were saying.
Nah, but it's just first Big Four gets a block on Ka, and then Ka gets the block on Flage, and Ka barks back, and then she gets the tech. And I know Steven was saying, no one should be mad about that. And I'm not mad at Kahleah for getting the tech. That's not what I'm mad about. I'm mad about these soft-ass refs giving out tech for nonsense. That is ridiculous. She did not say nothing disrespectful.
Yeah, she's just hooping. She's hooping.
Yeah, she's sorry
hooping.
if I get a block on my literal twin.
That's twin them.
Yeah, I'm going to go crazy. Yes. Oh my gosh. Rob said it was the last week game.
Yeah, so it wasn't that long ago. There you go.
I'm crying. Thank you, Rob. You do a great service to this podcast. Can't say thank you enough. But I just feel like the comfortability has really spread from within. Obviously, Kahleah Copper first with her 2 high-scoring games versus Sparks and the Aces. But then, she gets fired up today. Might not be the highest volume scoring game that she's had in her entire career. But nonetheless, it spread, and now Ayayi's in double digits, Max in double digits. Lexi Held's in double digits. Crap, I'm sorry, Max or Leah or Espo. I'm actually not sure if I was allowed to say the last 2 words that I've said over the last 5 minutes of this podcast, but it's going to be
You
fun.
can say it.
Oh, yay. Oh, my gosh. I'm not going to get in trouble, and, if I am, who cares? But Jovana's got double digits. Oh, my goodness. And then Ayayi with double digits. Gosh, her name every time you say it is just a mouthful. It's not like it's a really hard name.
You gotta
to say.
navigate
It's just
through it.
you have to really say it slow.
It's not subject verb agreement. It's vowel consonant agreement. Sure.
But yeah, comfortability. That's what we're talking about.
Comfortability. And now we'll say we're talking about Ka, and again, just 10 shot attempts in this game, got to the line 9 times though. And the rebounding you mentioned already, which is impactful, pops off the screen. But seeing, and I was curious, after the Sparks game, I asked myself, maybe a corner was turned, because what we talked about so much this season was comfort, and is something nagging her, is the injury that kept her out of a game. Is that what the problem is? And is it a matter of just seeing them go through? And she talked about figuring it out and turn that corner as well. So it feels like now where we are, although it wasn't as prolific as the last 2 games, as you said, this is a big point in where, okay, it's starting to click again. It's starting to make sense again. And obviously this team is going to follow where she leads them. So that's an exciting development as far as that goes. And again, broken record, stop me if you heard this before, but something else to build on as far as that goes, with her being the center of everything and everything else going well when she plays well.
The Mercury obviously believe in Kahleah Copper's ability to score the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Mercury, and albeit a lot of people have trust issues with the Mercury's front office right now because of the offseason moves, and honestly, we're going to get to the roster situation here in a minute. But frankly, if you don't have trust in this front office after what type of season they put together last year in their first ever season in their first season in 20 years without Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner, I don't know what else they could do to build trust. They sent the team to the finals. Now, obviously, this has been a upsetting beginning of the season, and this game doesn't change the entirety of your emotions surrounding the season. But that being said, it does give you confidence that they are building on something, and they're able to close games out. And obviously, coming out strong in the third quarter, scoring 33 points is a hell of a way to close it out.
100%. And one of the things that we were talking about with this team, when you fall, coming into today, they were 8 games under 500. It's not going to just happen right away. So it is a matter of it being a process. There is not one game that counts more than any other games that just brings you back to 500 magically. This is something that they're going to have to chip away at. And it's not necessarily looking like, oh, just win 8 straight. It's, hey, go 2-1, win 2 out of 3, win 3 out of 4 a couple times, and continue to just kind of make up that difference. And it's the little things that you hang on to. It's looking back at some of the games that you've lost this season and recognizing they went wrong for just a couple minutes here and there. And if we can clean up and pick up on that and figure those things out, oh, hey, we're playing up to the level that we expected to coming into this season. So it's important to have days like this, not nights, days like this in which you clean up some things, have big third quarters, which has just been something that's plagued you for a long time now, and say, hey, we can do this. Hey, this is something that we can do. Let's bottle this up and take it on the road with us to Indiana. Take it to Toronto with us. And then when we come back for a homestand, we're feeling good. Maybe we go 2-1 on this upcoming trip. We're playing against an Indiana team that's struggling as well. We're playing against a Toronto team that's dealing with an injury to a key player. Like, there's so many things that you can do, but the biggest thing, regardless of what's going on with Seattle or Indiana or Toronto, whatever it is that's in front of you, what can you control that's going on with your team? And I think that there's been so much inward looking and looking in the mirror with this team. I think now they're starting to see the benefits of that and see some of the answers and some of the responses to that. So that's a good step forward, and that's how you build toward eventually getting back to 500.
I like what Get Fit Elementary says in the comments. Losing to the Aces by 10 when you had 22 turnovers is very
22
telling on potential. And, like, obviously you still want less than 16 turnovers, but the ball security was much better today, and they were also getting steals. So it was a two-way street. If they were turning it over, they were able to go get a stop on the other end, bring it back up, and their life is just so much easier when they're playing in transition. And the types of players that they have, you know, you go back to the lineup that I was talking about with AT and 4 wings, like, all 5 of them play best suited in transition when they don't have to, you know, go up against a full set defense. So it was a great turnaround in terms of, like, get better one game to one game. And again, doesn't matter the opponent, like, you want to see them get better. And this, like you said, this is about them. It's not about their opponent. And that's been the same message from Alyssa Thomas all season. Like, even in losses to teams that you might not have wanted to see them lose to, i.e. the Sparks or anyone for that matter, you know, AT is always going to tell you, like, we have to look at ourselves. This is us that is making the mistakes. It's Mercury versus Mercury. You know, last year it was Mercury versus everybody. This year it might just be Mercury versus Mercury.
That, honestly, that's fair. That's it's a good way to kind of look at this, especially just knowing where this team is right now. And also recognizing this is game 17 that just wrapped up. And although this has not been what you wanted the season to be up to this point, not all is lost. And things could look a little different, and we've seen it before, but ultimately the big goal is just once you get to the dance, you have a chance. And can you get into that top 8? They're not, like, so far out of the top 8 right now where it's unreasonable or unrealistic to get back into it. And ultimately what it comes down to is now you have another opportunity on this road trip that's coming up to take another step forward. And again, Mercury versus Mercury. Like, let's figure this stuff out, because that doubt of what's going on with other teams that have their issues could creep in as well, and you might let up a little bit. But we didn't see that today. We saw a team who had their questions balanced with their talent, and the Merc said, look, we got our stuff going on. We're worried about that and nothing else. We're going to play at our level and see where it goes. Same thing that goes with, 22 turnovers. If you play up to your standard and not turn the ball over that much, we're having a different conversation about how Wednesday's game went as well. So it's one of those things where it feels like a puzzle. They've got the pieces and they kind of sorted them out, but now they need to figure out where to put them. And they're running against the clock a little bit, but still, time is not that pressing at this juncture.
Well, I want to talk about Jovana Nogić. My bad. Before Steven gets here, because I feel like Steven's gonna have so much valuable game perspective to give us, i.e. these clips. But I feel like we should talk about this for at least a second. I'm going to say this. I don't know exactly what's going on with Jovana Nogić. What I do know is she was not with the team for personal reasons, and then they suspended her contract either before the game this morning or during the game, which I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen, and I am an avid watcher of the WNBA transactions page. I don't think I've ever seen them suspend a player's contract in the middle of a game.
Middle of a game is wild.
Crazy. That said, if she is being traded, a lot of people, I've been hearing like the same question when I'm like having this conversation with people in real life. It's like, well, why now? Well, your time is running out. Like, if you're going to make a difference with the roster construction, you have to do it within the next 5 games, or the difference doesn't matter. You don't have, 80 games to go through to make a difference. Like, you have to make it quick and make a decisive change that will actually impact the team and their winning. And I understand that everybody loves Yo-Yo's scoring, and trust me, I do too. And like, that Aces game at the beginning of the season gave me so much confidence in her. But that being said, like, there have been a lot of glaring issues with the lineups when Yo-Yo is in the game, and the biggest part of it is defense. And we've talked all season long about how this team's identity is defense, and they're not going to beat other teams by playing to other teams' that identity. They're going to beat teams by being the Phoenix Mercury. And so if Yo-Yo is not playing up to the standard defensively, it doesn't matter how many points she's able to put on the board, because at the end of the day, the Mercury's method of madness is the defense, and it always comes back to that. So I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm not going to claim to know. I'm not breaking any news. All I'm telling you is the facts that we have so far, which is that she was not with the team for personal reasons. Nate Tibbetts was asked about it by Steven pregame. He said that it's personal reasons, and then it was suspended in the middle of the game. So from that, I'm not sure. I don't know, when to expect anything to happen with it. I don't know if I would expect Yo-Yo to be on a road trip to Indiana, though. So I hope that, I will say in all of this, like, the number one thing that is like a big red flag for me personally right now is that they also just lost Kiana Williams to the Sparks via, development spot. This is the first time in WNBA history that a player's been picked up off of a development spot in this fashion. So the Mercury was already kind of shorthanded in terms of guards, and then to lose Yo-Yo, no matter what the reason is going to hurt the Mercury. They're going to have to figure out either A, who can we pull in for another development spot, or B, who can we sign in place of Yo-Yo quickly. And, I'll be honest, there is options on the left, but your time is ticking here. So they need to get to step in. I hear Ari McDonald is coming back from injury soon, but
Put that out there. Put that out there. Yeah, I was gonna say, when you see personal reasons, obviously the first thing you're like, oh, I hope
everything's okay.
Everything's okay. I hope like Yo-Yo the person is fine. And then it escalated to a sense of like, I'm messaging you guys. I'm like, this isn't normal, right? Like why is this on the transaction page right now? It was like mid to late fourth quarter when I sent the message to everybody. Like, what's happening? What's going on right now? So obviously it kind of causes you to raise an eyebrow and be like, okay, what is happening? What is going on? What is about to happen? We saw the team find a way, thinking about the basketball perspective of it. We saw the team find a way and look comfortable and confident out there in her absence. And maybe she would have had a good game today if she was available. But regardless, this team found a way to win with her not around and available to play. So it's not, obviously you there's a level of excitement that we got from her shooting ability and the joy with which she plays the game. But who knows if we will never see her in the Merc uniform again or not. But if that's the case, as you were talking about, like, there are some needs and deficiencies that could be addressed if something were to happen transaction-wise, whether it be a roster spot open up or some type of transaction. We have no idea, but there's all the different things that are on the table. It's a thought exercise. We have no idea what's going to happen, but there are a lot of different ways that it can go, and each different timeline presents an opportunity to improve the team and different outlets to do so too.
And to answer Get Fit Elementary's question, well, I'm not sure it was a question. Sorry if it's not, but I will say this. I would argue that there is a lot more importance in what is going on off the court than on the court. So I don't know, because as you can see, the Mercury have been, let's just call a spade, disconnected. That's the reason for the turnovers. That's why AT hasn't gotten a single triple-double all freaking season. It's because they are disconnected. And so somewhere in all of this is a solution. The Mercury just have to be creative and find it. We are getting to the point late in the season. maybe late in the season's the wrong phrase, but we're almost halfway there. Like, I'm planning my trip to Chicago for All-Star already. Like, so things got to get to step in. They got to get to making corrections with this roster construction, albeit either with a trade or just a, transaction.
Steven. This is a big acquisition right here.
Thank God. Thank goodness. Because we were getting a little unserious over here on the PHNX Mercury podcast. But, Steven PridGeon-Garner is about to join us live from the Mortgage Matchup Center. Dude, You
were just there.
I was. It's
fine.
not like I look at the sign every time, though, to be fair.
Yeah, who does? Who looks at the sign and, knows where they are?
We'll come back to that. Thank God you're here, Steven. Not only have we been mildly unserious, but also you could argue that Gil has been rude to me for the first time in our
Not true.
2-month-long friendship and career.
Not true.
I will remember.
Demanding accountability is not
Hashtag
rude.
noticing.
That's being a good teammate.
Verbal typos over here happening everywhere,
I'm
Steven.
being a good teammate, I think. Anyway, Steven, what's up, man?
How is it going?
Speaking of good teammates.
I should be asking y'all that. Y'all go ahead and have y'all one-on-one or whatever this is. I'll be the ref. I'll be like my guy from boxing, just watching intensely with every jab going, ooh.
I cannot really make a fist. I would probably lose. And I feel like Gil's hands are a lot bigger than mine, so it would hurt.
I'm a pacifist. You would win by default. We don't fight over here.
Yay! I'm waving the white flag. Everything's forgiven. We're all good here on the Mercury podcast. But Steven, welcome to the pod. Thank God you're here. We got a victory. I won't lie to you, Steven. I'm really sorry to bear this bad news for you, but I did break my own rule and bust out the Thundersticks. I am very sorry. I know that we said that we wanted to wait till 500, but life is life, and you got to celebrate while we can. You know what I mean?
I think we all agreed that a win would mean that was more than okay. So I would leave that be. But yes, celebrating wins in this short-term window, very important because it's been a while. And I say that respectfully because they've been playing well. And they've played some very close games that feel like if one bounce went the other way, as we've already kind of detailed, we might be talking about a different record even over the last 3 games, let alone over the last 5 to 10. So this is a good step in the right direction. Glad they finally were able to not just push it across the finish line, but do so decisively and emphatically. But one's not enough. This is definitely a great first step, but they got to continue to kind of stack those in some capacity.
Steven, before you got here, we're just kind of talking about the ways in which they went about getting this win. And I feel like this was a very much Phoenix Mercury brand basketball win. And granted, the opponent is what it is, but they, come out in the third quarter, put up 33 points, I think only allowed, or 20, which, they shoot for under 20, but I think in every other quarter except the first, it was 20 or less. So I think in Mercury terms, it was a successful win and in the room with their identity. I don't know that it was all the way there. Obviously you're missing some pieces. There's still some things to move around and make work. But I think, in terms of Mercury wins this year, this was the most closest we've gotten to the Mercury brand of basketball that you and I have become accustomed to over these last 2.5 years.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was well said. I think you have to start with the defense. The defense is the identity, and the defense is kind of the barometer for what this team's level of play is at any given moment in a game, in a series, in a season, in a quarter. All of that stuff kind of ties in with the defense. So they give up 17 points in the second quarter, and I think that coming after what the first quarter was for them, which was a quarter that they lost by 5 and they only scored 19 points, I think that says a lot about this team's ability to kind of be like water a little bit and shapeshift, if you will, and just kind of figure it out, but do so even over the course of a game or even just a half. Doing so to the extent of going from being at a deficit at the end of the first quarter to being up in a somewhat comfortable manner going into the second half, just because of how well they were able to kind of turn things around in that second quarter. So you lose the first quarter 19-24. Then the second quarter, you win it 29-17. that is the Mercury basketball team that we've kind of grown to expect in this new era. Just based off of the things that they did last season, and when they pressed that button, it's really hard to beat them. And I think now, as we're starting to see them kind of find their footing and put it together, defense with the offense and with lineups and things like that, now it's about sustaining. And that's the kind of big looming cloud right now. Can they continue to sustain?
One of the things that I talked about with this game, you mentioned sustainable stuff, is you're facing a team who, by most metrics, even though the records are similar, is an inferior opponent. They're talented, they're also younger, and are still learning things and figuring it out. So when we talk about what we saw from the Merc and them playing their game, one of the things we said before you got on here, it's like last year was Mercury versus everybody. This year it's Mercury versus Mercury, and like them figuring themselves out and taking a look in the mirror. From what to this game do you really want to make sure that they take with them on this road trip? Because we know what kind of stands in front of them. But to turn this into just a one-off to a potential winning streak, what do you think can be taken from today?
Yeah, I think it's when they lock in and lock down defensively, collectively, like across multiple different lineups. That's where they start to have fun. And it's not just, okay, they're playing well, like they're having fun. You can tell because it's a lot of, oh man, that's another block. Oh man, that's another steal. Oh man, that's a rebound and a grab and go for Alyssa Thomas. And there's a lot of time they're spending in transition. But I think they're also, the other part of it is because they weren't spending as much time arduously in the half court, when they got to the half court, whether it be off of a made basket from Seattle or even in the after timeout situation, they had such a good rhythm that everything that they did just started to have a certain type of cadence to it. And that feels like the piece that hasn't really been around much, or definitely not consistently enough this season on offense. And a lot of that kind of ties back into the defense. When they find their defensive rhythm, their offense gets rolling. And now all of a sudden you got Alyssa Thomas with 9 assists. Now all of a sudden you have someone like that's not a primary ball handler or primary creator in Noémie Brochant, who can cut her way into having 10 assists and a season high and career high in assists in a game where Alyssa also had 9. Like, those are the type of situations we saw spark up multiple times last season. I hate to continue to compare it to last season, but there are certain kind of pieces in their style of play that we saw last season when it hit what the results consistently showed to be. And I think tonight was an example of that. I mean, 26 assists on 31 field goals made, and I think they had 62 assist points created as a team, which is their second most this season. I would say that's pretty good.
I would guess the first highest assisted points is that first game versus the Aces.
That's actually number 3.
Wow.
And I thought the same, but I had to go back and double check. They're number 1 this season. They had 63 assists points created on the same number of assists, 26 as tonight, in their most recent matchup against Los Angeles.
Wow.
So again, a game that they should have won. Like, 2 of their last 3 games have been 2 of their 3 highest assist total games, and the third game being the one that you mentioned against the Aces to start the season. So they've been playing well. They haven't put it all together, but they've been kind of knocking on the door of like, hey, if we do this just a little bit better, we can really start turning some corners. So now it's about just seeing them sustain again.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They're turning the corner. They have not turned the corner yet, but they're in that active process of doing it.
Mm-hmm. The steering wheel has shifted.
What?
Nothing, bro.
Turn signal is on.
I'm just listening to what you're saying.
Checking our mirrors. We've yielded.
Are you like 60% through the turn? Or like in the turn lane, or are you like actively turning?
They're just like 20% into the turn.
Oh my goodness, bro! I need more. Give me more.
We need more. They're it's a 5 and 12 turn. Like we like an 8 and 12 turn would be a different. Like they're on the street
right now.
So what?
They're in driving school right now. They're finding their way.
There's somebody else with the brake on.
Yeah, Gil's in the passenger seat with the emergency brake right now.
Some could argue they're learning how to drive with their left foot.
Wow.
Kevin's mad, but like that was funny.
Funny.
Steven, we're obviously in post-game media today with Noémie Brochant. I think it was Kahleah Copper as well. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I am wrong.
Hello, Miss Ayayi.
Oh, it was a French-a-thon in the media room. I love that. We got to win. So how was that? What were your takeaways from the players and obviously Nate Tibbetts as well?
Yeah, it was a high vibrant type of post game, especially when Noémie, who set multiple career highs tonight, and Valu, who set a career high in points, kind of graced the podium. So Kevin, we can go ahead and start with Valu Ayayi, just kind of getting very introspective and speaking on her journey with the Mercury so far this season. Here was everything she had to say.
Big one, big one. It feels good. It really feels good. At some point, I started doubting myself, but then I was like, I know how to play basketball. I know what I can bring to this team. I just need to be patient. I just need to keep working on the practices. This is what I did, and then my time came today. Today was me, but tomorrow it can be somebody else. And this is what I love with this team, is that we have that much talent that we don't need to worry we're gonna have a great night, and this should be our strength.
Last question, Shane.
Yeah, I think she said that very well. When they have enough talent in the room, and now it's just about, again, like Gil mentioned, y'all mentioned before I got on the show, Mercury versus Mercury is the adage this season so far, especially through the first quarter and some change through the first third of the season. When they come with it, they look like a very different team, and the opponents also look like a different version of themselves as well. And I think that speaks as much to what Valu is speaking to as anything. And I think, again, she's going to have to play a hefty part in this team's main rotation if they're going to be getting where they hope to be at the conclusion of the regular season.
Something we talked about before you got on here, and we were talking about Valu kind of turning the corner. But Wednesday, there was some frustration I could tell with her when she got into early foul trouble. She was frustrated with herself, frustrated with officiating. And you hear her say, I started doubting myself. Like, again, a reminder that these are humans that put these uniforms on and are playing the sport. Just as we have self-doubt with whatever we're doing in our lives, whether it's behind the microphone or whatever it is we do, that happens. And I think I saw today a different level of freeness that she played with, a different level of confidence that she played with, enjoying the game again, getting back to the basics of enjoying that. So when we talk about things that you can take with you and the vibrance that you spoke on there being in the media room or the press room post-game, that is what I attribute a lot of the success and the way that she was able to play and have an impact today to that type of approach.
Yeah, I think all of that matters a lot, Gil. I think you can attest to just how when you have every player on every team has had highs and lows over the course of a season. And it's not just your teammates being able to pick you up by, I'll just play a little bit better because I know you're kind of going through it right now. But it's also like the intentional check-ins, and not the are you okays, but like the little tap on the shoulder, like, hey, you hurt, right? Like, don't forget that part of Valu.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having teammates that cannot just say that kind of arbitrarily, but someone like Alyssa Thomas, this is not me reporting. This is just me kind of speaking matter of fact on the relationship that's persisted. We have someone like AT that can say, hey, Valu, remember when you did X, Y, Z, and ABC when I was playing overseas with you?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of led to us having this relationship we had. Like someone that can light a spark in someone and kind of see that light in them when it's kind of dim in terms of their confidence, I think matters a ton. And I think there's multiple kind of moments, there's multiple kind of pieces of that with this Mercury team. They can kind of pick each other up in ways unique from one another. So I feel like that's a lot of what's been happening with Valu, in addition to Nate Tibbetts challenging her in the minutes and minute earning dynamic with that to just be better, just be who she knows she can be. And I think she's kind of found that spark again. And as she continues to sustain that, I think there's going to be better basketball for the Mercury as that continues to grow.
Well, it's like, we talked about comfortability, right? Like, and Kahleah Copper talking about like doubting herself last year, or, early in the season. When she's doubting herself, it's easy for these players that have never played in the WNBA before ever in their career to also doubt themselves. And so, Ayayi turning the corner is, I feel like, very intuitive to where this team is at mentally, in that they're helping themselves to kind of unlock comfortability again via each other. And that's really important. And you have great leaders in the room to do it with. DeWanna Bonner, AT, Kahleah Copper, even Sammy Whitcomb, who hasn't played a game in the regular season yet, but she's still an incredible locker room piece to have in your corner. So I think it just kind of speaks to the fact that this team is getting to the point where they are comfortable with each other again. They do feel like they don't have to doubt themselves. They don't have to doubt the person next to them. And that is exactly what you want if you're at this stage. And albeit 5-12 is not the record you want it to be, but if they're getting more comfortable, you can have a little bit of confidence moving forward that, hey, like, they're going to win some of these games that are close. These close games that they've been dropping, they're going to start to win those. Instead of dropping them by 5, they'll win by 5. And I think that's where my mindset is at. So I feel like that's got to be also where the team's mindset is at.
You have to, like, foster an ecosystem of confidence, right? That's the way it works, especially in sports, especially in professional sports. But, like, you have to have the confidence in your teammate for them to go do what they do. But where does that come from? Them playing with confidence and doing it. And the coach has to have confidence in you to trust you to put you out on the court. But where does that confidence come from? You doing what they're asking you to go out and do. So everybody kind of has to pour into one another, like as a leader, verbally, as you talked about a little bit, but also by example. And also leadership also looks like, hey, this person has missed their last 6 threes, but the 7th one, I think that they're going to make it, and I'm kicking it out to them again, and they do make it, and they're like, oh man, they trust me to make it again. I must actually do this, right? That's another way of saying, remember when you did this and that, or remember when you made 4 threes on that night, whatever it is. And teams that are down on their luck to start seasons or find themselves in a position that they don't want to be in, that's what digging deep oftentimes looks like. 'Cause people always use that cliche, like, we had to dig deep and get this one. We had to dig deep and, like, what does that look like? That's what it looks like. Trusting somebody, going to somebody a 7th time when they missed their last 6 shots, whatever it is, doing something that little bit extra that it's going to take to get a win and beat a team in a situation that you don't expect to win, or that you just really, really need a win. And I am not excited that this team is in the position that they're in, but I'm excited to see how they handle this challenge, because one went over the storm. Yes, I know, but some of the things we saw in it encouraged me as far as their ability to dig deep and figure these things out over the next 10, 15 games.
Gil, when you said storm, did you mean storm as in the team they were going against, or a storm as in the things that they've been working up against internally to get over the hump? Because
Yes.
I think
the class.
Yes.
there's a nice little entendre
Yes.
right there that you dropped. Yes. Well done, sir. Well done.
Yes.
Well done. But to that point of speaking confidence into people and seeing that light in someone else and being able to spark that for them, this was what Ayayi had to say about the one and only Noémie Brochant from tonight's game.
I mean, I know her. So for me, that was just like everybody was just cheering and everything, and I was like, yeah, that's just her. This is what she's doing, and what I love with her is that she's just playing right. You know, like when she has to shoot, she will shoot the ball. When she has to pass, she will pass the ball. She's a great defender. So for me, that was just awesome to witness this and to see her grow in the league. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the mom, big sister for her. You know, like sometimes I'm teasing her, but I'm really proud of what she's doing. I'm really proud of her, and yeah, I just want her to have fun out there.
Well, have fun she did. Noémie Brochant, have yourself a game. 16 points, 4 of 5 from 3. Again, 4 of 5 from 3. That's a career high in threes made in the game. 6 of 7 from the field. Also had 10 assists. That's a career high. I think she had 23 assist points created. So you do the math on that 20 or that 16 and then the 23 assist points that she created, and you put that in factor with how many points the Mercury scored, and you see how much of the claim to points generated for the team that she had. That's something that we usually only speak through a lens of with this Mercury team, specifically when it comes from Alyssa Thomas. So the fact that not only is AT doing what she did, but also Noémie was able to bring the things that she did tonight, or today, excuse me. I keep getting tripped up by that. It really just kind of speaks, for sure. It just speaks to their level of play. When they're playing the right way, when they're playing the way that the team needs to on any given night, we start to see it's not just AT putting the team on her back. It's not just Kahleah having to storm the offense on her own and kind of light a spark for them. It's not just Jovana having to bring a spark off the bench. It's a sum of the parts. And now you got multiple sums kind of bringing high-value things to the game and kind of making them that much more dynamic as a team. And Noémie was able to kind of just be herself. She didn't have to do anything extraordinary or unsustainable to go get the numbers that she did tonight. She took the shots that were open. She knocked them down with confidence because of the rhythm that the offense was playing with. And I think everything kind of stemmed from that. Now her cutting takes on a different impact. Now she's able to play make because they're keeping the defense in rotation. That's the perfect storm for the Phoenix Mercury right there.
Jesus.
We are on a roll right now. Winning is fun, obviously.
Wow. This just
And
in breaking
basketball
news.
the right way is always fun, for sure.
I'm just glad we got an opportunity to talk about a win today, guys. Like
Needed it.
I don't care how we got it. We could have grit and grind. It could have been the whole like bowling ball that AT rolled like at one point in today's game. It could have been that the whole game as long as they won the game. I don't care. So it wouldn't have been pretty, but it would have been just as fun to talk about. I know we got 2 more clips to get to, and I know that something just broke in Suns land.
It did. Yeah.
Don't let a Gillespie get some motion.
Don't.
Colin. I'm sorry if no one understands that, but
I don't.
Now
can't
Kevin.
because
Now
I'm in
Kevin.
trouble.
I
Now,
used
Kevin.
discernment, Steven. What did you want?
Now, Kevin. Hi, sir. First of all, how are you?
I'm all right, Steven.
I can tell. Kevin, since I queued you up, we can play these 2 Nate Tibbetts clips back to back. So the first is going to be Nate speaking on everything that is Alyssa Thomas and how she kind of unlocks and helps make his job easier as a coach, but also for the team to function the way that they need to on offense. And then after that will be Nate speaking also about the passing impact of the team and the way that kind of created things for them in today's game.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing she does is, she wants us to get a good shot every time. I think the fun part that I've had, coaching her is just the ability to move her around. We can play her in the corner. We can play her in the dunker spot. She can handle in pick and roll. She can set in pick and roll. She can be up high, right? And so just giving the team different looks, her willingness to move around to different spots, because when the ball finds her, good things happen. I think, part of it is hopefully just the growth of our team. It's an area that we've really been trying to hit home the last couple weeks, just with our drills and different things that we've been working on in practice. The ball, we always say the ball has magic, and it did tonight in the second and third. I thought Noémie's cutting in the second quarter really created some problems for Seattle in the way that she moved. And it's just, I think we tied a season high with 26 assists. Just credit to our group about trusting the pass, and our spacing was a little bit better at times, and that helps.
I think it was, again, to run on with the perfect storm adage we're using. I think it was a perfect storm of the Mercury, first of all, knocking down some threes. Wasn't looking too good to start the first quarter, and then the second quarter happened, and they pretty much stayed on that same kind of beaten path the rest of the way. But I think it started with their passing, starting with Alyssa Thomas in particular. I think Nate Tibbetts spoke to just being able to move AT around and the luxury that is for his offense. She didn't run as many pick and rolls tonight as she kind of has in most of the games that preceded tonight or today's game. And I think that's important because I think they can put pressure. Like when you have something that another team can't guard, it's easy to just go right to that. But what about if you kind of go to other parts of the things that kind of help her be great, and then you bring that other piece that no one can really deal with in tandem with that? It makes their offense that much more dynamic. So they just kind of got Alyssa the ball in the middle of the floor, kind of running some fluff action to get the defense moving around, break the shell a little bit, and then boom, it gets to Alyssa, and that's the trigger for what they want to get to, which is players screening and cutting for each other, getting the defense rotating, and then AT just making the right play. One time she hits Noémie on the backdoor cut. Next time you end up seeing the defense try to pinch in from the weak side. So now Alyssa throws a skip pass to the corner, and I think it's like Ayayi knocking down the three. And then another time it's Kahleah Copper receiving like a flare screen and then being able to play off of that. And it's just rinse and repeat, but it's just coming in waves. And I think when they're able to kind of set the tone for their offense in that way with the pass just always getting into pick and roll and trying to get downhill, now they kind of grow more dynamic. They put more pressure on the defense. And now you start to see players like Ayayi getting some secondary assists that lead to assists on the box score for her just because of the way that the ball is moving for the Mercury.
Steven, I feel really excited about where the Mercury is at right now. I feel really eager about where the Mercury is headed. What's on the other side of that turn? We don't know yet, but we'll find out soon.
What challenges?
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
Wow.
Very
This
true.
has been such an inspirational podcast today. I mean, by Nate Tibbetts saying we got magic in the ball. Now we got opportunity around the corner. It's just really, come back to the PHNX Mercury podcast for all your inspirational needs.
I could have said it better myself.
Steve.
It's a big week. A big
It
week
is.
coming up schedule wise.
It's
There's,
back-to-back Fever games, right?
Not back to back in a literal sense, but they play them back to back in succession with the schedule. Yes, Monday, Wednesday, I think. Right? Is it Monday,
Correct.
Wednesday?
Correct.
Yeah. That's
And some
going to
brunch
be
hoops
fun.
next Saturday, but that's a long time.
Yeah.
from
That's
now.
like literally a week away.
More brunch hoops north of the border edition this time. But yes, I think next week's schedule is going to be a nice challenge.
Wait, they're going to Toronto and they're playing in the morning?
11 a.m.
11
our
a.m.
time.
Our time.
Oh, you're
Yes.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. Let me just refrain. I was about to crash out a little bit, but we're good. We're
Yeah.
good.
That's
Everyone's
why I
good.
said brunch instead of breakfast, because if it was 10 a.m. to be breakfast, but 11 a.m. is brunch.
I just thought, for
You thought it
some
was
reason,
like a
I
day
thought
game?
the other way around, like time zones, which I know
Oh.
is actually ridiculous. But I was like, are they playing at 8 o'clock in the morning? No, we're cool. We're cool. I can relax. My
That's
bad,
alarm
my bad.
clock hoops.
That's you in the men's league, bro.
Yeah, that is true.
You got to get in the hoops when you can get in the hoops.
Exactly.
But we've done some great work. What's up,
thoughts on that
Steven?
schedule? Any thoughts on that schedule, the way it's set up for them next week?
So what I was talking about before you got on here is that the Fever are a team that is having a little bit of an identity issue right now as well. And this is kind of where the Mercury versus Mercury thing came up but that doesn't matter. Obviously, your scout and know who they are and what they bring to the table, but ultimately know who you are and what you're supposed to bring to the table. And everything else should take care of itself. It's always going to be difficult to beat a team twice, and the same thing goes for the Mercury. So oftentimes you probably expect a split in these games, but let's just get one Monday and then see where Wednesday takes you. And obviously Toronto having the Sykes plantar fascia situation, don't necessarily know how serious that is, but that's another team that you owe one. We know what happened here.
Yep.
Whenever that was. It feels like last week, but it was a little bit longer ago than that. But you owe them one, but you got to get there at the end of the week. So hopefully, I think at the bare minimum, you want to go 2-1 on this trip. Try to get greedy at some point this season. But as I was saying, the biggest way to kind of claw back into getting closer to 500 is win 2 out of 3 over and over and over again. And before you know it, you will have made up the distance.
Steven, wait.
Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you, Steven.
I don't know
Okay.
what.
Oh, there you go. There you're back. We can hear you now.
That was wild. I forgot what I was even saying. I think I was saying it would be in their best interest to try and go and get all 3 of these, get greedy, because it's been not greedy enough on the other side of a majority of the season that's preceded this upcoming road trip. So you want to start going to try to stack some wins. If you can start doing that on the road against some teams one team that has gotten the best of you, and then another team that has kind of posed you with some challenges the last couple of seasons now in terms of figuring out some of their top end pieces and ultimately being able to win against them at home or on the road in the Indiana Fever. So you want to go figure these things out. You found a little bit of positivity to extract, and you played well, and it resulted in a win for a change this time. So now you want to just kind of stack that. Can you stack that? It's not going to be playing the same way you did against Seattle. That's going to get you a win against Indiana. Indiana's a team that usually, if you can kind of get physical with them, get kind of handsy with them and control the terms of play, that's usually the best route to finding consistent success against them. Can you continue to do that in the ways that you showed to tonight? The block in the third quarter from Kahleah Copper on Flau'jae Johnson, and then the Lioness roar that she let out that led to a technical foul and a lot more chirping, I think is the perfect example of what's been missing from them this season. That level of care factor on defense has just not been there consistently enough. And I think that it coming specifically from Kahleah Copper, who's the most expressive of their leadership group, from a defensive play in particular, I think that's a telltale sign that they're starting to turn that corner that Gil said. The hands are not at 9-3 anymore. The hands are shifting to 2-7, and they're starting to kind of turn that wheel just a little bit. And as they start to do that a little bit more emphatically, I think that's going to be the better version of them coming on the other side of that. But you got to put the work in. And I think that was an example of it, what they did in the second quarter and the fourth quarter defensively of today's game.
Any more verbal typos we need to get out before you guys start the Sun Show?
These noon games are just they like set up to trip you up. Like it's like a trap. It's like dribbling to the corner. You're getting trapped, and you're gonna have to not turn the ball over. And more often than not, you're not supposed to dribble into that corner. So that's what I'll say about a noon game.
I'm just giving you guys a hard time. Is a girl not allowed to do that?
Of course you are. I was just explaining.
That's like mainly my number one job description. Give Gil and Steven hard times.
And that was me stepping up. This is like my post game. I'm at the podium saying, listen, I gotta stop dribbling to the corner. These day games get you. I gotta stop turning the ball over. I'll go back and look at the film. I'll go back and watch this, and see where I said today instead of tonight, and vice versa, and get better. So thanks for holding me accountable. I appreciate you.
You'll do better tomorrow.
Yeah, I will do better tomorrow. What
I will tell you guys is I'm not going to have a verbal typo right now. I'm going to tell you the next two pods, and it's going to be correct this time, because the last time your girl lied, and that's on me, because apparently I didn't. Do I make the schedule? Sure do. Did I know when it was? I didn't. That's on me. But that's okay. We have post-game show. Oh my gosh, hello. Post-game show Monday after the Fever game, and then on Thursday, normal time, 5:30 p.m. Arizona time, made up ASU numbers, whatever, AZ time. So be here or be square in both of those shows. You don't want to miss it. It doesn't matter if the Mercury win or lose. We still have fun on the PHNX Mercury podcast. I got the Thundersticks out today, and frankly, I do intend on getting them out later this week.
Thundersticks 4th streak.
Do I do the Thundersticks now?
No, I was just saying. I mean, they could prompt that, but I was just saying, they already did it once. You could do it again. This is going to invoke a win streak.
I'm gonna do it again.
Because Andy says, "Let's go streaking" in a win streak sense.
I don't want to do the other stuff. So
yeah, in a win streak sense, that's what that means.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, be sure to leave a like, thumbs up, 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I haven't said that a single time on this podcast, and honestly, again, another thing that's just on me. So do that. Subscribe to PHNX Sports while you're here. If you want the Suns news, whatever that may be, about Colin, you're going to have to subscribe to PHNX Sports, so that way when they go live, you get notified. Boom. Next thing you know, you're on the pod. And so it makes it nice and easy. What is so funny?
I don't know what this Colin reference is.
I'll show you after.
Sure. Colin.
It's they have a TV show about a girl with Tourette's, and her husband's name is Colin.
Oh, not bailing out loud.
It is bailing out loud.
Oh, she's married. Okay, so
yeah.
Y'all just out the bailing.
They did get married. It was on People magazine.
Congrats to them and their union. And Colin.
I'm glad you know. Oh my gosh, yeah, Colin. I'm so happy.
Okay.
Huh?
Who?
I'll show you after.
Okay.
It's very funny to me. But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us on this episode of the PHNX Mercury podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Eric Lee Day. You can follow Steven on Twitter at StevenPG3. You can follow Gil at Gil McGregor _. You can follow our super dope injured producer Kevo Post on Twitter. And you can follow all of us hooting and hollering together at PHNX Mercury, verbal typo, PHNX _Mercury on X.com. Any other things that I've missed today? Okay, without further ado, Mighty Mercury.
We all silly like the mayor.